Hi, welcome to Treehouse Life. I'm Paul Cameron, CEO and founder of Treehouse Life Limited. We're here with one of our projects. We're in Andalusia in Spain, in this searing heat, creating an adventure play area. Look at the adventure right from the set-off. Here we are at one of the entrances, one of the many entrances to this adventure park. This is a log rope bridge. And you can see the logs coming through, leading you up into the treehouse area. And already we have touch and feel, children working with natural surfaces, rope. Look at this frapped rope to the rope bridge here. Look at these awesome peeled Robinia hardwood beams that the kids can play in amongst, feel, touch, really engage with the natural materials. As we climb, we're coming into this elevated space right at the top here. We're not too far off the ground, but for a child, wow, we've made it. We're up in the adventure. Already, I've made the entrance and I'm in the adventure. My head is spinning with, I don't know, Indiana Jones and cartoons and films that the children may have been watching. We're in this space, we're playing, we're thinking of ideas. We're on one of our decks here. Look at this, beautiful natural timbers. It's always structural, always finished with perfection. We'll talk more about that later. Little window here, no glass, no hatches. It's easy. The kids can climb in and out. Why should that be naughty? It's playful. It's children pretending. We're almost encouraging that, and it's safe both sides. Why shouldn't they be able to do that? Let's come round and have a little peep inside, and what do we discover? Some hammocks. What fun. Yeah, little swing in those hammocks, little peep out of the window. Kids might be in them for 2 minutes and then rush off to the next bit. But their imagination is constantly being filled and is overflowing with ideas and a sense that they want to make a journey, continue on the adventure, not just stop here and play, but a little bit of activity, and already coming around these decks to the next rope bridge. Everything is elevated, everything is off the ground. There'll be planting, there'll be trees, there'll be bushes. There's a sense that we're up in the treetops, in the imagination of the children. Isn't this magical? Isn't this beautiful? And at all times, natural materials, nothing red, nothing green, nothing metal. This is natural sanded timber. Look at how good that is. Real solid beams of timber, beautiful ropes. Look how this passes through the timber here and just flows, creating the shape, creating the natural space. We've got play surface below for full heights. We understand that. Children are children. They want to climb. They want to muck about. But at all times, they're within a really natural, hand touch, physical space that we've created. It's in their eyes, it's in their touch, it's in their creative space. They're up in the trees, they're in amongst the trees and the bushes. Look at this great space. I'm inside a treehouse. We've got a window opening here. I could climb out. Why not? It's what kids will do. It's what they want to do. Look at the finishing here. Solid wood, creating the shape. Look at my hands on this. No splinters, all sanded and finished. Big blocks of wood. But look at this dressing. Natural materials taking us from the window over the top to this beautiful tongue and groove cladding that we've created. This is 9x2 timber, super structural, super stable, but we've created in our workshop a tongue and groove finish, and then we've dressed it. Look at this use of rope through here. Absolutely beautiful. This is all done by hand, no sharp edges, something to grip, and we finish it with this beautiful frapping. We create this frapping from ends of ropes. We create this thread and we hand frap this rope to give this finish and this detail around the window. Look at these beams coming down. Look at this thatch up here. All natural materials that we can touch and feel safe in. We pop out of the treehouse and bring you around to more beautiful detail here. I think this is so wonderful. It's not a factory-made item. You can see, I think, very clearly how hand-finished this is. Again, this really structural, strong timber, kids bashing around. Oversized, but we like chunky, big wood. And we've, again, got this detailing with this rope. Look at these knots, all hand-knotted. Again, we have the frap. Look at the shape of these knots, identical, one above the other. It's interesting that we get so particular about how we do the knots and how they look and feel. The rope coming through the timber, creating this balustrade. And again, some dressing around the bottom. Look at the knots here, complete mirror image of these knots. Nobody would notice. We notice in the creation. I don't suppose the kids would notice at all. They're too busy heading off on the adventure. But it's part of the overall look and feel of what we do. This combination, look at this, of Robinia hardwood, structural timber. All of this Robinia timber is hand peeled. It's an actual tree that's been peeled by hand. You can see, I think, across here, all different shapes. You get the shape of the tree, the gnarls, two different diameters. There's a sort of bulge in that tree and a dip. You can see all of that, but then sitting below that is a perfectly level rope bridge. Now, how does that happen? It's the hand crafting. We're now using here with this smaller rope through this rope bridge, a weave, hand weaved, okay? And we work with the very imperfect line that we're deliberately getting from this huge Robinia hardwood beam to a perfectly level rope bridge. Very smart, very clever how that works. Again, does it get noticed? Certainly the kids won't notice it. They're just firing with their imagination, firing with that creativity. They just want to use this space and for it to become whatever's in their imagination on that day. Tomorrow, it might be another imagination. It might be another story that they build. It's all in the pretend quality that children have. Aren't they awesome at pretending? We're just building the space for them to pretend within. How exciting is that? And with this rope bridge, it's all there. There's a simplicity, but also a really strong structural element with these beams and this rope. This rope frapping is working with friction, a natural force of physics where friction is really strong. So it doesn't necessitate bolts and fixings. It's all done by a single weave of rope through each side of this rope bridge. We've got some wobble. Which child is not going to wobble this bridge? We've accounted for that. It's strong. Big, huge timber beams, and you can make this bridge wobble. How cool is that? And if we come across, I think, a 9-meter rope bridge, we come into another play space, another adventure space, open space. How often is a playground crowded with kids and parents, one on top of the other? That's where the arguments come. That's where the challenges come. Queuing fighting, shouting at each other. We try to create big space, so there's plenty of space for the children to work in pairs or threes or on their own. It looks after all of those groupings in a quiet way, in a slow way, in a way that really embraces pretend. And children are the best ever at pretending. As grown-ups, we learn how not to pretend. We learn how to be grown-up. Children don't have that barrier. They free flow with creativity, and they're awesome at pretending. And that's what we're embracing. Hi, here we are at what we describe as a castle. It's a castle in our drawings, it's a castle in our paperwork, in our design process. But listen, what it actually becomes is an adventure space for the kids. This will be whatever they want it to be. They could pretend this is a cafe, this is a bank, this is a shop. It can be a castle, okay? But the process of building, I think, is really quite evident here. We're actually standing on a space of 7 hexagons that join together. We're coming up from the ground with structural robinia. All of that sits underneath. All of that's into the ground or bolted to concrete. So strong, irregular robinia trees that have been hand peeled. But up here you can see the built structure. Now this is a team effort. We have craftsmen that work with these shapes to create a sense of perfection in what we do. Built perfection, different levels, different heights, different combinations of entry points, journey and exit points. So there's a real mix going on here, but also a sense of simplicity, an open space where kids can run around and meet up with their friends and just start imagining the next game that they're about to play. We have joist work underneath these deck boards. Because it's elevated, we work really hard with our joist work because that's seen from underneath. So the joist work is beautiful and strong and stable, and it creates a beautiful surface for these 9x2 timbers which form the deck areas. You can see the shape of the decking following the hexagonal. So again, there's a sort of beautiful simplicity to it. All of this timber is plugged with timber pellets. You can see these lines. These are all screw fixings, structural landscape screw fixings that build on that joist work with the deck work to create really strong and stable spaces. And then comes the playful element. We come one route in is through this doorway, and what we have here is one of the 2 turrets that for us make the castle. But it's a journey, it's an adventure space, so again it will be whatever the kids want it to be, but they can rush into this space. There's a number of routes out of this space through these windows. From here it looks as though those are just going in, but we can see later, or we might pick up in this this moment together, the climbing walls that we've created outside so the kids can climb down to the ground or climb upwards through this 4-sided rope ladder into an upstairs loft area. It's all child-sized. Grown-ups can make the journey easily and quickly from a safety point of view, but the kids love it because it's built for kids. They feel that it's a space that they own. So here we are. This is attached at the bottom, so this doesn't swing around, but there's a bit of movement. So there's a little sense of danger, a little sense of risk, little sense of achievement when a child has made their way up. And I'm just going to step out and show you the outside of this building where we've just created this downstairs and this loft. We've then got a netted tunnel that takes you up into the taller turret building here, which is the same. It has a downstairs area, an upstairs loft. So just within this whole space of 7 hexagons, look at these shapes coming together. Look at the height of, or the changing height of these 2 buildings. Look how these are linked. Look how we can flow through very simply, once we're on this structure, up these hexagon steps. We're getting quite high here. If you come to the edge, you can for a child, you're feeling really high up and elevated. There'll be planting around here when it's finished with the landscaping, with big trees and bushes. So we're feeling that we're up in the treetops. And again, we have this lower area, a 4-sided rope ladder, and again, a loft area upstairs. On this one, no windows. This is more enclosed, more secretive, more of a real hideaway feel. Just imagine coming all the way up from the start, up the rope bridges, across to this area, up into the lofts, and feeling that you've escaped, feeling that you've got lost, feeling that you're in a secret space. It might even be somewhere that the kids say at supper in the evening, "Oh, let's go and play up in the loft in the castle." And it becomes their own secret discovery that the grown-ups don't know about. And they'll come up here and they'll feel that it's a little nook that they've discovered, and they're the only children in the world in that moment that have discovered that nook. Little windows, again, no openings in this setting. Of course, for private clients, we often do have windows and doors, but this is a space that's actually created for up to 700 children. So we don't want doors that are shutting and catching fingers. We want open spaces, but they're safe, they're chunky, they're solid. You can see here the cladding that we've created. Now, this is not normal off-the-shelf cladding. This is cladding that we've created in our workshop. This is 9x2 timber, 2 inches thick, 9 inches wide. And we've created a tongue and groove joint for all of these. So we create these timbers, raw product, into our workshop, and before coming out on site, we will machine using our table saw, using our CNC facility, the cladding, which is then screwed with structural landscape screws into the stud work that sits between this outside wall and there's another wall inside. So 2 clad walls, 2 sides of 9x2 timber sat on stud work throughout. It's a super structural, super strong, really good looking, but massively solid as the kids bash around in here and have lots of fun and lots of magical moments.